Did you know you can instantly convert large numbers into millions in Excel? How about display negatives in parentheses like the finance pros do? Even better, you can add red down arrows so the declines stand out immediately. In this video, we're going over the ultimate Excel formatting guide covering numbers, dates, and everything in between. These took me years to learn, but by the end of this video, you'll be using them like a pro. Let's get into it. And thanks to HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Starting off with the revenue figures in this dataset, you'll notice they're quite hard to read because we don't have commas separating the thousands. For this, we just need to select all of this area and press Ctrl 1. That's the same thing as going over to this button right here. Then we just want to click on number and use a thousand separator. We don't need those decimal places and we'll hit on OK. That was actually fairly simple because it's using Excel's defaults. That said, when you have big numbers like this, they're often expressed in millions. And of course, you can manually go ahead and get inside of the number and divide that by 1 million. The problem is when you do that, that number is now just 13. It's not 13 million or anything near that. And sure, you can always go up here and say something like numbers in millions. That's one way to go about it, but in Excel there's actually a tool that we can use instead. So let me just go back, select all of this area, we'll press Ctrl 1 again, and then under this custom area is where we can make a lot of the cool changes. So let's suppose that we just put a 0 here for a number, and then we're gonna add a comma. You'll notice as soon as I put that comma there, it removes 3 of those zeros. That basically means that it's now in thousands. I put another comma and this is now in millions. Right now though, it's only gonna give me the digit, which isn't ideal. Maybe we wanna see 1 or 2 decimals as well. So we can go back in here and instead of just the 0, we can put .0. Now in the sample, you can see it's starting to show some decimals. I can put a second one if I wanted. So that's all cool till there, but we don't actually have the M anywhere near that. So we just need to add that at the very end in quotations. Put an M so it's nice and clear this number is in millions. And actually when you look inside the cell, it's showing the full number. It's just when it comes to formatting, we now have it in millions with an M in the end too. You can probably imagine that if we've been able to do it in millions, we can also do it in thousands with a K. So we could just select this area again. And now we need to get rid of one of those commas and just put a K in here instead. So that would be the same thing as 12.5 million. Alright, so we've seen how to work with very large numbers. How about very small ones like percentages over here for the percentage growth? Typically, these are just expressed as percentages. So if we press Ctrl 1 again, within here, we're just gonna press on percentage. It's really that simple, but for these negative values, ideally we wanna have these in parentheses. That's particularly common in finance or accounting. So let's see if we can do the same here. I'm just gonna select all of the values, press Ctrl 1, and under this custom area, you'll notice that we now have it formatted as a percentage, but this is for a positive value. When it comes to a negative one, we separate these with this semicolon. And then in parentheses here, I can put that same formatting, so 0.00% and close those parentheses. So now we're saying when it's positive, I don't want any parentheses, but when it's negative, I want it wrapped around. So we'll hit enter there and it's gotten rid of the minus sign and instead these parentheses represent negative values. That's not all though, because they're negative values, what if we want them to stand out a bit more with something like a red color? For that, we just need to go back inside of this and we can customize this further. Just before that semicolon, add these square brackets and put red. Hit enter there and now you can see these get highlighted in red so they really stand out. Later in the video, I'll show you how to add some icons like a red down arrow too. As you can see though, Excel has a ton of formatting tricks, so it can be hard to remember which ones are most important. That's why I've teamed up with HubSpot to create a guided template of the 50 best Excel hacks to boost your productivity. By clicking the link in the description, you can access this resource completely for free. It includes 10 of my personal favorite hacks that I wrote myself, as well as a further 40 to cover even more scenarios. The download includes instructions on how to use them and some sample data for you to practice. HubSpot even includes short demo videos for each one. Personally, I find this resource most useful to refresh my memory on some of the most important Excel hacks as I can easily practice them with the sample data they provide. So I recommend visiting the link in the description below to download this completely free 50 Excel hacks guided template from HubSpot to level up your Excel game, and thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Continuing with the Excel file under this growth section, if we have negatives in red, maybe we could also add some positives in green. So that would be the square brackets again. I'm gonna put green in here and hit enter. You'll notice though that these look very ugly, and unfortunately in Excel you can't further customize this, so I can't go ahead and go for a darker green. That's just not possible. One thing we can do though is press Ctrl Z to go back and instead just use some kind of conditional formatting. This could be a workaround. So highlight cell rules whenever they're greater than a 0, and instead of having a fill color, maybe we can just change it to have a custom text. So we're gonna remove all of the fill. So I'm gonna say no color here, and then as the font, I'm gonna go ahead and change the font color to a darker green than we had before. Hit OK there, OK again, and this is what it looks like. If this were to change to a -5, it should update thanks to the formatting, and if this number goes positive, it should update thanks to the new conditional formatting we added. So far, we've seen how to make the negatives when they come to percentages with the parentheses, but how about with actual numbers like these EBITDA figures over here? I can press Ctrl 1 again, and I'm just gonna go over to custom, and I pretty much wanna do the same thing. So colon again, and now in parentheses here, it's 0.00 again, and hit enter. It's really that simple. As I was teasing earlier, let's now try to actually add those symbols that look like a down arrow. So for that, I'm just gonna press the Windows and the dot. That shortcut basically adds any symbols or emojis. Under symbols here, I want a geometric symbol, so it should be within this area. If I scroll lower down, here it is. So let me just click on that once so I add it in my Excel. Once it's here, I can just copy that. And then let me just go back here so we can have a look at everything. Ctrl 1, and this is where I would want to paste it. So whenever it's negative here, I'm just gonna put that symbol, hit enter there, and you can see we have them looking down. They're in red as well, thanks to the formatting we did earlier. In this case, we just use that down arrow symbol, but there's really so many other options. Here we have all of these emojis. We've got within just the symbols, so many other options as well. So feel free to add the ones you like most. Now, if you've been paying close attention, you might have realized there's something that's a bit confusing. And more specifically, if I press on Ctrl 1 under custom, I'm referring to these hash signs versus just a number. So what exactly is the difference there between these options? I think it's easiest if I just show you an example over here to the side. Suppose we have the number 5. The number 5 here doesn't have any decimals. So when I press Ctrl 1 under custom and I just put a 0.00, you'll see that it shows me some decimals. However, when I do that with the hash signs instead, so I just put the hash, comma, hash, hash, and hit enter, it doesn't actually show me the decimals. So that's a key difference there, that even though that 5 doesn't have any decimals in it, just by formatting, it decides to add that 00 at the end, whereas when we use the hash, it won't. So far, we've been looking only at numbers, but now let's focus on dates as it has a lot of versatility there too. Up here, we have a few line items, revenue, expenses, and profit for a certain period of time. But instead of seeing that 1-1, which is the same across all of these cells, what if we just want to see the year? Of course, you could manually just type 2025 in here or 2024. But of course, right now it's using the date format, so that doesn't work. So I could just choose a number format instead, add 0 decimals, and it looks something like this. The only problem is that this isn't actually a date, so it's not ideal. Instead, the way to go around this is to press Ctrl 1 and change the type of formatting. So under custom, instead of having that M and the D, we're just gonna delete that and only show 4 Ys. Hit enter there, and now that only shows the year, even though everything does have the dates. So I can even use the edate function. This basically adds a month after. So for instance, I can type equals edate. Start date is right here, comma, and I can choose to add 1 month. Obviously, that's still gonna be 2024. So in this case, I would choose to add 12 months after that, then shift right and Control R to drag that all the way to the right. When you're forecasting some numbers though, it's quite common to have your actual figures and your forecasted figures. These are also known as estimates. In that kind of scenario, let's suppose these 3 years are actuals. You'll see how people put an A at the end there. So let me show you how to do that by going over to custom. And here at the end, in quotations, I'm just gonna put an A. So those are actuals. And then for all of these other ones going forward, these are estimates. So I'm gonna put an E in quotations and hit enter. Awesome, and now moving to a slightly more complex section, lower down over here with the order ID. Suppose that for these IDs, we will need to have some zeros in front, maybe because there's something like district codes. But as soon as I add those zeros and hit enter, you'll notice that they just disappear. So that's very annoying, and one way to go around this is just to add an apostrophe and then some zeros. So that apostrophe prevents it from removing those zeros up front. Another way you can do this that very few people know about is just by going to Control 1, and we'll make some changes here. First, let me get rid of that. So Control 1, under Custom, right on the bottom here, we're gonna put the number of digits that we want. Let's suppose that we want it to be 5 digits. So I just put 5 zeros there, and then you'll notice it's showing that first zero up front. Basically what it's doing is whenever the values are not already there, it's just gonna add zeros in the front of it. So all of these now have zeros up front. We don't have that parentheses, but you'll notice that the zeros aren't actually in this area. It's just purely cosmetic. Next up, let's work on the dates that we have on the column to the right. So these that currently they're just showing as numbers, which is why they look this weird. So I can press Control 1 and change this to a date. But what if we don't want to have the year on the side? That's pretty simple to fix. Just press Control 1 and under custom, we get rid of those years. It looks something like this. But ideally for things like the month, I just want to see the text. Well, that's also quite easy to do here. Simply by putting, instead of 1M, having 3 M's is gonna give you that Jan. A fourth one is going to give you the full month. So abbreviated versus full is 3 or 4 M's. If we can do that with the month side, you can probably imagine we can also do it with the day. First here, we just have that 0 or no 0, and then a third D is going to give us the actual day. So now it's a Sunday, and a fourth one would give us the full Sunday instead of just sun. Hit enter there, and here's what that looks like. Finally, you might have noticed that the last column to the right doesn't make so much sense because we have delivery and we don't really know what this means. So does this refer to days, kilograms, units, etc.? So if you want to be able to add that, of course, I can go ahead and put 3 days, sorry. But that's not very good in that it's no longer a digit, right? So I can't sum these two anymore. It now gives me an error. But there is a way to do this, and that's just by pressing Control 1 again, and under custom, here we just have a general, so I'm gonna put a 0 for the digit, and then in quotations, I can add a space and say days. Hit enter there. That would be one way. I could also go ahead and change this. If instead of days, we're talking about kilograms, then I could put a kg in here, and you might have noticed I'm adding that extra space there, so it's a bit easier to read. But the nice thing is that this is now formatted as a number, so I can add these two, and it's gonna give me the answer. One fun bonus trick you probably didn't know is that when you want to hide a value, of course you don't just want to delete it, but you simply want to hide it, you can go to Control 1, and here under custom, just add 3 semicolons. That's basically gonna make it disappear, but when we look in the formula, you'll notice it's actually showing as a value. That pretty much works in the same way as taking a value and simply hiding it by changing the color to the background color. To learn how to make a dynamic calendar from a list of dates in Excel, check out this video over here, or if you want to learn what the double dash does in Excel, you should watch this other video over here. Hit that like and that subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.